Well, it's a beautiful Saturday. We are up north, Michigan, and I have the great opportunity of interviewing a wonderful friend of mine for the Creating Legacy Through Community Service. My name is Sophia Chu, and I will be your host today. So, like I mentioned, I have a beautiful friend of mine that's going to have this very interesting conversation with us today about creating legacy. So, we're going to start with you telling them your name and your place of birth.
All right, my name is Rachel Winston. My place of birth is Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada.
Ah, nice. So, how did you first get to Metro Detroit and why did you decide to stay there? But before you even go there, I want you to tell us a little bit about growing up in Halifax, Nova Scotia, some fun facts about it because I don't think enough people know about the history of Nova Scotia and how it ties back to the Caribbean.
Mhm.
So I don't know if you want to expand on that, but I am very curious about learning about Halifax, Nova Scotia, how you got to Toronto, and then how you got to Metro Detroit.
Okay. So I was born in Halifax, Nova Scotia, in a year, a certain year. Nah, 1974. So I only stayed in Nova Scotia until I was 8. My father and I moved to Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
Fun facts about Nova Scotia. We are where so the city is Halifax, but I grew up in a small town um, called North Preston, North
Okay.
Preston, Nova Scotia, and historically we are the largest Black community in Canada. Um, I can't remember exactly how many other Black communities there were
Mm-hmm.
in Nova Scotia, but we were the largest. Most people from Canada know about North Preston. They know about Nova Scotia. They know about Scotians because from North Preston, because we are fun.
So Nova Scotia Bank is a big thing in Jamaica, for example.
I've
Does that
seen
tie
that.
back into it at all?
Not really. I don't.
Okay.
I was very surprised when I went to Jamaica and seen the Bank of Nova Scotia. So I probably need to look that up
Yeah,
and
I'm
how Bank of
curious.
Nova Scotia got there. But we have so many different cultures that um, were, I guess, came to Nova Scotia
Mm-hmm.
via the whole slave trade and British, the British, what's the word I'm looking for? The British fighters, the people who basically left America
Mm-hmm.
and then fought against America because they didn't want to be slaves,
Mm-hmm.
um, and fought for the British because Canada was under British rule. So they promised them, the 40 acres and the mule, some land,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how Americans from Maryland and Virginia got there. Um, or and they also did the Underground Railroad.
Okay. Okay.
Also, uh, Jamaicans, the Maroons were brought in ships, and they were actually in North Preston also, but it was so cold for them, so they didn't
Yeah.
stay. There
Yeah.
were Africans that came via the ships.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's very diverse, very diverse.
So, from a travel standpoint, because in my mind, I'm thinking Nova Scotia is like way up there somewhere, right? So, to travel, for example, from Detroit
Mhm.
to get to Nova Scotia, how do you do that?
Um, it takes a very long time, but it takes just one day.
Mm-hmm.
Usually all day. A plane. There's no straight flights,
Okay.
so I would have to stop either and it just depends on the flight on the airline.
Okay.
So let's say sometimes I leave from Detroit. I might have a layover in New Jersey, and then I have a layover in Ottawa, and then I'll get to Nova Scotia. Or I'll leave Detroit, go to Toronto, fly to Toronto, have a
Mm-hmm.
layover there, have a layover in Montreal or Ottawa, and then get to Nova Scotia. But there's nothing straight through.
Wow.
Yeah, nothing straight through. So that is an all day journey in the airport.
So, me as a Jamaican woman, how do you think I would be received in Nova Scotia?
I mean, you would be received well. People are friendly.
Okay.
Yeah, people are friendly. If you came with me to North Preston,
I'm coming with you, girl. I'm
Yeah.
coming with you.
you come with me to North Preston, they probably say, "Oh, who's that girl?" You
Uh-huh.
know, that's how they talk. Yeah, who's that? Who's that strange girl? Who's that girl? But you would be welcomed with open arms. Food,
Okay. Okay.
drinks.
Okay.
Black people are usually the same wherever you go. They want to feed you and give you drinks and make sure you're comfortable. So they would welcome you.
So, what's your favorite fruit from home?
Favorite fruit?
Food. Yeah,
Oh,
favorite food from home.
Oh, okay. So when I go to Nova Scotia, Nova Scotia specifically is definitely seafood.
Mm-hmm.
The seafood is phenomenal. I have yet to go anywhere and have seafood like when I go home.
Okay.
So lobster, you can buy lobster on the side of the road.
Wow.
Scallops, like there's people who set up shop. They go and they get it fresh that day or a day before and sell it, and it's not as expensive because it's so plentiful. Another thing that I love from Nova Scotia, even though I don't eat meat anymore, donaires.
What's
We
that?
say it's a party in your mouth. So it's like what do you call it here? Gyro or gyro?
Oh, gyro.
Gyro. It's kind of like a gyro. It is Lebanese, I want to say. So
Okay.
what it is, it's like lamb, and you carve the lamb, same as a
Okay,
What do
okay.
you say, gyro?
Yeah.
Gyro.
I think they called it gyro.
Gyro. So it's like that, but our white sauce is sweeter,
Oh.
and it's so good.
Oh.
So that the other thing that people when they go to Nova Scotia, they say bring me back some pepperoni. So it's these pepperoni sticks. I don't know why it tastes so good, but it's good. You can get beef or pork, and it's really good. And you can get spicy or else just mild. Another Canadian food that I don't just get in Nova Scotia, but poutine. So yeah, I like the
But
French
that's the
fries
potato
with
thing,
the.
right? Potato thing.
Well, it's French fries with like cheese curds and then
Uh-huh.
like brown gravy over it,
Ah.
and it's absolutely delicious.
Okay.
I know I'm missing stuff, but these are the fun things that we like to eat when we go home.
Okay. So now we're gonna circle back to how in heavens did you get to Detroit, and why did you decide to stay in Metro Detroit?
My father and I, in 1980, we moved to Toronto so he could, have a better life for me, of course, because I am the favorite child, I'm the oldest. So he wanted to, work in Nova Scotia is a small province, so the jobs weren't a whole lot for black folks. So we moved to Toronto, and then from there, I grew up in Toronto in the six, as Drake calls it, or the T dot. So grew up there, and then I moved closer to Detroit. My mother lives in London, Ontario. So she moved from Nova Scotia, her and my stepfather, and I moved to London, Ontario. Then as early 20s, I probably moved to Windsor with family because I have family all over. And I got married and I moved to Detroit.
So I got a question, and I know I should have wrapped this in there, but when I first met you, I thought you were Jamaican, just because of your cultural attributes, not the way that you look or anything like that, but just how Caribbean cultured you are. Where did you get that from?
Okay, so growing up in Toronto, I grew up with everybody. So a lot of Jamaicans. Oh gosh, I would say when I moved to an area, Lawrence Heights and what is that? Lawrence and we called it Jungle.
Okay.
So I just put it out there.
Okay,
Jungle
okay.
is big up. So anyways, all my Jungle family. So it was a lot of Jamaicans, Guyanese, Trinidadian. Not too many people that I knew from Grenada then, but those were the main ones. And it just, the culture, I kept, of course, my Nova Scotian because I had family. But, you couldn't help but, adapt the culture. Everybody I hung with, went to school with, best friends with, was either, basically they were Jamaican. I can't say I never really had a best friend that was from anywhere other than Jamaica or just African. You know what I mean? So,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
my girl friends that I spent the night over their homes, you
Mm-hmm.
know, was cool with their parents, whatever. They was all Jamaican.
All right.
Yeah.
So you've been eating Jamaican food for a long time
Oh
too?
yeah, I've been eating Jamaican food for a long time. And then I have to talk about my grandmother. My grandmother moved to Toronto, I would say in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
So my grandmother makes some good pepper.
Okay.
Pepper sauce my grandmother makes. So everything that we ate at my grandmother's house was spicy. And then
Mhm.
as a coming from Nova Scotia with like no hot spice
Bland.
to
Yeah.
eating
Yeah, yeah,
her
yeah.
food,
Yeah.
yeah, it was a lot.
Okay.
I remember
All right.
sometime we were like, what are we eating? But we got used to it.
Right.
So yeah.
Right, right.
And then we grew up with patties and cocoa bread and yeah, Randy's patties. That was delicious. So patties and cocoa bread. What else was my favorite? That was absolutely my favorite.
What about the partying?
Oh yeah, we went to bashments. Everybody had, yep, we went to parties. Oh my gosh, basement parties. Um, shoot, all kinds of different, you know, it always was something. Then we had friends that were from Jamaica who sang that, you know, so Super C, that's a friend of mine.
Mhm.
So there was a lot going on. So you couldn't help but adapt
Okay.
culture, you
All
know.
right. So now we're in Detroit. You mentioned that you got married
I did.
and moved
Yep.
to Detroit.
Yep. So that's how I ended up in Detroit, and that was I got married in 2006,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to say I lived in Detroit maybe 2004.
Mhm.
Yeah. So.
And
got
where did
married-
you stay?
Excuse me. We lived in Westland.
Mhm.
Yes, we lived in Westland. So I guess we weren't really in Detroit.
Metro Detroit. We're talking
Yes.
about Metro Detroit.
Yes.
We,
So
we
we-
claim the entire
That's
area.
right. We lived in Westland when we got married,
Mhm.
or when we first moved together. We lived in Westland.
Okay. So we're going to now talk about your history with the Caribbean community here in Metro Detroit.
Okay.
How did you get introduced to them, and what was your draw towards staying with them once you got introduced to them?
Well, I'll say that when I first moved to Detroit, I did not know anyone that was from the Caribbean, and I was looking for restaurants, for parties, for, you know, and I didn't see any of that until I
Mhm.
met you. And when I met you, you were like, there's a whole community. What are you talking about? So I was like, I've never met anybody, you know, all these years, but I lived in Westland. I don't know. There's probably people. I mean, I met you in Westland.
Mhm.
So I just was not going anywhere, but I didn't know anyone. So,
Okay.
you know, so that was great when I met you. And
Okay.
then you opened me up to all the people in basically the community.
Okay.
Yes.
So, did it remind you of home, meaning Toronto home, with the community that you had there? I know it said this is a mature version of you.
Right,
but-
right. But I will say, yes, it kind of did because of the dialect, the culture, the
Mhm.
people that I've met. Not so much, I guess, like, yeah, even when we went to parties, it still was very similar. So,
Okay.
to growing up.
Okay.
Because I still keep in contact with the people that I grew up with.
Mhm,
So,
mhm,
yeah.
mhm. So tell us a little bit about the work that you do in the community.
The work that we do in the community, and I say we because it's you and I and all of the other people that is with CCSC. So, because I've always been a part of the culture in the Caribbean culture in Toronto,
Mhm.
it was easy. It was just easy for me to, you know, just help with the things that, whether it was like, you know, some of the parties, or even finding out more history,
Mhm.
or just getting more information, or, you know, helping with the community, whatever it was. It was not hard for me. It was easy. That was an easy fit for me.
Okay. I know you have children, and I know that your older ones are from our community, the Caribbean community. Do you include the younger ones that are Americans? Do you introduce them to our community, and how, and if yes, How receptive are they to it? And if no, why not?
Oh, it's definitely a yes.
Mm-hmm.
The children know I am a colorful person. So for my American kids, as I say, my son that's 17, my daughter that's 13,
Mm-hmm.
they get the whole Canadian, Nova Scotian, they get the
Mm-hmm.
Torontonian, and they also get the Jamaican. They get the Jamaican because, I do pretty good with the jerk chicken. And so I make that every so often. So
Mm-hmm.
food wise, and then too, we buy food.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then also they've been to events.
Okay.
They've been to the festivals. They've been to events.
Mm-hmm.
And also just, I may say things too.
Okay.
So, some of the slang and whatever. So, yeah, no. And then the music. How could I forget about that? So, whether, when you're in a certain mood or you're cleaning or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to
Mm-hmm.
listen to whatever. So, it might be dance hall, it might be reggae, it might be R&B, it might be hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
So they're very receptive.
Okay.
Go to Jamaica.
They want to go to
Yes.
Jamaica? Oh, let's plan a
Yes.
trip. You
Yep.
know me. I'll travel. So now we are present day and we're raising our children to be what we hope will be legacy for bringing our community forward into the future, right? So I want you to put on your dream hat.
Mhm.
What are your hopes and your dreams for our community?
In Detroit, I would hope that we would be more visible. I think that, especially if I didn't meet you, I'm not sure, where I would be within the community. Just picnics and not just parties, but picnics, events, just social events, the pageant, even just some of the celebrating Emancipation Day, the independence. There's all types of different things, restaurants where they have events.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that if it was more visible, where more people knew, and I don't know exactly how that would happen, but when you go to Detroit, if you would know about, XYZ, everything that, not everything, but just things that are going on that are a big deal or that's a regular, things that are annually.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, June, I'm going to go and then we're going to, celebrate, what is it,
National
Nation-
American
yes.
Heritage Month.
Right. So I would say just more visible, more visibility.
Okay. All right. So do you have any parting notes, any last minute things you just want to talk about before we wrap up?
Well, I wish I would have came in the summer, or this was in the summer, so then I could see everybody. And I don't really have any parting notes. I just miss everyone. And hello, Detroit. All my folks that know me.
So now that you've opened up the door,
boy.
where are you now?
Oh, okay. I'm in Maryland.
Okay.
I would say most people know. If you know me from Detroit, you know I'm in Maryland. You know how to check me out.
So now they know. Tell them a little bit about your business and what it is that you do.
Okay. So I have a fitness business. I do all things fitness, but one of my the main things that I do right now in Maryland, I'm a service provider. Under my business, I service people with intellectual disabilities, developmental disabilities, some mental disabilities, and I provide fitness. Right now, I'm trying to expand into other services through the Department of Disability, respite, companion services, in-home support, and offer fitness to seniors and let me see who else. Seniors,
Like homebound seniors?
yeah,
Senior housing, that kind of a
yes.
thing?
Senior
Okay.
facilities
Okay.
and just anywhere I could get in.
You never
To
told
help
us the name of
people.
your business. What's the name of your
Body
business?
Waves Fitness.
And how do
Yes.
we find out information about Body Wave Fitness?
Body Waves Fitness. I'm on Instagram. I am on Facebook. I am Rachel Winston. Body Waves Fitness.
Spell body. There we go.
Body
'Cause I
Waves
didn't
is
think
spelled BODYWAVZ, not SZE. Body Waves Fitness.
Thank you.
Well, you're
Well,
welcome.
Rachel, it was an absolute pleasure
Always a
spending
pleasure.
time with you
Yeah.
and you sharing your words with us.
Mhm.
Stay tuned to our Facebook page, our IG page, Caribbean Community SC, and you'll see when she is up next. Until next time, peace.